Three, two, one, let's get it. Welcome to another edition of First Thoughts. I'm your host, Marsh Bice, and First Thoughts are just those. It is important for me. It is a life calling for me to write every single day. And it's important that I express what I write every single day. I happen to do it through a microphone, but you may want to do it through pottery, through art, through poetry, through a blog post, or a microphone if you so choose, or just coaching one on one, or just sharing with someone else. But whatever the case may be, writing is important because emptying your mind will make you clear headed. So if you sit down and write every single day, it will empty your mind out. It's kind of like cleaning out the storage on your phone. Empty your mind out. That way you free up capacity for a brand new day. That's why the Bible says, man, renew your mind. It doesn't say recycle, re-old it. It says renew. And writing, emptying those thoughts out will help you with those things. Writing literally saved my life. And expressing what I have written has created success for me after being at some of the lowest points in my life to the point where I just didn't want to be here anymore. So today's first thoughts, hot off the press 2 minutes ago, is titled Then What? And it has to do with setting goals, but then what? What happens then? Some of the worst times and feelings I've ever had in my life were once I accomplished goals because I didn't have a new goal. And that's what's so scary because it causes you to actually ease up, to start making some exceptions with an E. And once you start making these exceptions, meaning just this once, see, just this once isn't, it's not a moment, it's a mindset. So once you start making these exceptions, you start accepting a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. And you got to understand, man, the baseline is always moving. It always moves. So your baseline that you're checking back to is probably based on where you were yesterday. But if you made those exceptions yesterday and those thin slices and made some exceptions, then today you accept a little bit less. And the next day you're going to accept a little bit less and a little bit less. And you keep making these mindset promises of, I'm going to double up, I'm going to hit it hard next week. Then that turns into next month. Then that turns into, where are we right now? We're in September. So I guarantee you, somebody is saying, I'm just going to ease up for the next 3 months and I'm going to hit it hard for January because 2023 has kicked me in the nuts. So I'm just going to start fresh for 2024. That's bullshit. And that is where you get the all of the suddens and life is completely run you over. So setting a goal is super, super important. It's super important. But you got to factor in then what? Because once you achieve these goals, man, you got to put something else in place, otherwise you're going to ease up. So here's what I wrote. The goals, we all have them. They're the reason why we get out of bed. It's the passion that fuels our fire. But here's the thing. If you set the goals just as destinations, once you arrive, this is what's going to make you complacent. I mean, picture this. You achieve the goal. You reach the mountain peak. And then you get there and you look around and you realize there's higher mountains. There's other summits. But sometimes what we do is we just look down and we say, you know what? I'm high enough. This is good. I've done more than other people I went to school with, so I'm good. You can only coast in one direction, man. If everything changes, then you must evolve. See, your goals should not be endpoints. They should be indicators, mile markers, if you will, of how far that you've come. Great. So when you achieve the goal, it's a testament of your commitment, of your focus, of your tenacity. So you move from this interest How many times have you been interested? Oh man, I sure would like to change things in my life. You're interested, but when you set this goal and you say, fuck this, man, I'm not turning back this time. It shows, man. You forged your commitment. You had things come up. You had moments come up. You were blindsided by certain situations, yet you kept on rocking because you were focused. Focus stands for what? Find one course until success. That's what focus stands for. It's a proof of your tenacity. And look at how far that you've grown. But dude, don't stop there. See, you set your initial goals based on your limited vision. See, when you first set something out there, that was as far as you could possibly see. I mean, you talk to someone who has never made $100,000 before. $100,000 seems like the end of the world. But once you get to $100,000, you're like, what's 250 like? Because you already had that energy of 1,000, of 100,000. So you got that six-figure energy. Now you want to parlay it into a 250 to 350. And then once you get to that, you say, what's a half milli like? And then once you get to that, you say, hey, what's seven figures like? See, that energy has to keep evolving and has to keep perpetuating from there. So when you set the initial goal, understand this, your goal that you set may seem like that it was way out there, but once your dreams become a reality, man, that is only proof that you can do more, that you've done more. Great. But there's more. There's so much more. And so now what you're able to do is this is where you've got to go wider and further. And if you notice how far that you've come, your thinking has changed, your speaking has changed, what you're reading has changed, who you hang out with has changed, your actions have changed, all of that. But dude, you got to keep the change going. You got to keep the chains moving, right? Like they do in football. That's the old football term, man. Keep the chains moving, meaning get the hell down the field. And that's what you got to do. I mean, think back to the time when you were just starting out. You had no momentum. So you were flat. You felt lost. You were frustrated. Seemed like you were doing all the effort and not seeing any results. I mean, you were doing 20 times the effort of everybody else. Yet it seemed like this is where life kind of fucks with you a little bit. And so you were putting forth all this effort. And it seemed like people who were giving less, doing less, were achieving more. You're like, dude, what's the deal? This is where most people turn back. But see, because you're committed and you have this no matter what, and until as my time frame, you have surrendered to a specific timeline. Once you achieve the goal, that is an indication, man, of the momentum. It reached that tipping point. And so what was once 20 to 1, 20 times the effort to get one time the result, now you can do one time the result or one time the effort, get 20 times the results. And this is where people ease up. That is a fallacy. It's not going to stay that way forever. You have just improved your focus, improved your efficiencies. You've done deductions and additions. You've left some things in. You've rooted some things out. You've eliminated some people, some thinking, some doing, and you've streamlined that success. Great. You've achieved it. But don't rest. You got to shift from a mindset of job well done to work in progress. Use your indicators. Use your achievements as indicators of momentum. They're just mile markers. They are not endpoints. You think Warren Buffett needs to add any more money to his account? No, it's a scorecard for him. It's just a marker. If there's opportunity and it's available, well, fuck, why not you? That's the thing. That's what life is telling you. It's like, dude, you got all these options, all these opportunities. Why not? Why sit back and say, oh, I'm good? This is it. This is all you get in life. This is one lap. Dude, make the most of it. So the next time that you reach a goal, great, celebrate. But don't hold a parade, man. Don't pat yourself on the back and sit down. It's just a job well done. Now, let's go back to work in progress. Because once you get there, then what? And even I will even say this, once you get close and you're just about to hit it, you better start working on the next thing. Think about in football. Now that football season has started, the coaches, when they're in the red zone, yes, they're trying to get into the end zone, but then also they're thinking as well, what's the next series? What is it we got to do? So the next time we get the ball back, what's the next strategy? So they're trying to not only score now, but they're also setting up the score for later. But so often what you're doing is you're just trying to score. And once you score, you just stand in the end zone for the rest of your life. You become like the Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite being like, dude, 20 years ago, I could do this. Who cares? No one cares but you. So keep rocking it out, man. Keep rocking it out. All right? Passionate about this today. Shift your goals to indicators. That's it. That's all I want you to do. Set the goal. Strive for the goal. Once you get close to the goal, it becomes the ceiling. Now it becomes the floor itself. All right? Let's get out of here. Remember, keep it simple. Keep it moving. Never settle. Stay tough. Keep selling. If you want more content like this, go over to the Marsh Bice podcast. These are first thoughts. These are hot off the press before they're filtered or anything like that. You get them first right here on the First Thoughts with Marsh Bice before they head over to the Marsh Bice podcast eventually. New episodes come out on the Marsh Bice podcast on Mondays, and I'll try to bring you these as often as I can as time allows. All right, let's get out of here. Peace.